Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna do a rune showcase. This was requested by a subscriber, yes, who commented on my video a while back. So this is me fulfilling that promise to you that I would make a rune showcase video, as well as for the other viewers out there. Now, so this rune showcase will basically contain a list of the monsters that I regularly use. So from this list, 110, well, call it 109 because the angel mall right there. So anyways, we're gonna basically start off from water to fire, water, fire, wind in that order. So the first one, Dagora. Now I don't use this unit as much back in right now because it still has runes, but it was mainly to counter Odin when Odin will target um a water unit, but now we'll randomly target anybody because has elemental advantage, so this unit is not so much relevant. I used to also use it to counter back when the whip girl, I don't remember her name. The Wind Whip girl, Yen. Yes, when Yen was meta. I basically Wind Bruisers and Ciara. I use this unit to counter. I would usually pair it with two fire units. So yeah, I'd make it as tanky as I possibly can. Now, Konamiya. Now, Konamiya is basically an old unit. I used it mainly for PvE. Let me emphasize that. I use it mainly for PvE in my starter raid teams, R5 teams, but now I don't use it so much. So the runes you're seeing now has been runes that I have since a long time ago. Then we have Kimbesenov, or who I like to call Uncle Sam. Now, I use this unit a lot in Guild Wars, sometimes Arena, and that's how I have him built as fast as possible with will and shield sets. Right, so to provide Katarina with one extra shield set to prevent her from getting stripped. So yeah, that's it for the rune. It's kind of decentish rune. Yeah. Now for Theomars. Now Theomars is another unit that I have him ruined, but I don't use him as much, but I still use him more than the other units that are in my monster box. Now, that's his build. Violent Will. Can go Violent Revenge and so forth. So, yeah, those are his artifacts and so forth. And that's his rune set. Not much to talk about there. Now, Chow. Chow is one of my earliest Nat 5s, right? It was very hard to ruin. He's very stat hungry. He's like the Nat 5. He's basically Anavel's husband. It requires a lot of stats for him to be good. I have him on Violent Destroy. So as you can see, those are his runes artifacts. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, 6. Now I use him mainly in Guild War. I used to take him in Arena back in the day, but now I don't need to do so anymore. So yeah. Then we have the Homunculus. Now, this unit, you can use him in PvP, but he just got a bit built differently. I mainly use him in PvE. TOA in particular. The dots. So he's basically, if you don't have Rika, or if you pair him with Rika, you will have a easy time in TOA, and that includes L mode. So yeah, it's a great starter unit, right? Very versatile. He's there for CC, dots, and AoE damage, all that good stuff. I will emphasize that if you're gonna go for a CC build and is on despair, it's good to get this to be the second skill because it's 3 times, so that means 3 opportunities to do a despair stun. Then we have Sabrina. Now Sabrina is built with will and broken set, so it's basically a specific counter to some siege comps. I think would be ones that have Carcano, I believe. Yeah, I haven't used it in a while. So yeah. Let me go through the runes real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have the artifacts here and there. So basically as much damage as possible while being tanky, decent speed, etc. and crit rate. Then we have Orion. I recently runed this for Guild War or slash Siege because I pulled Ciara. Yes, I pulled Ciara. So I decided to take out my Orion and give him the best violent will set that I can possibly put him on. I could make him faster, but somebody else is wearing that faster violent speed, violent rune. So those are his runes, and there we have it. Yeah, as much speed as possible and tanky with theirs going from there. I tried to get accuracy on skill 3 for the artifacts so that he can strip and do his, Orion things. Then we have Camilla, the Water Valkyrie. Ideally, I want her on Violent Destroy, but I haven't used her that much because, you know, Odin, the meta changes with every new unit that comes out. And I used to use this to counter Odin a lot. You can still use it today, but not against Odin. Like Odin, rather. I said Odin. Anyways, you can use Camilla to counter CR if you don't have much, options. But then again, this is a premium option, so yeah, then we have Talia. Basically, the same way I would build Talia, the same way I build Sabrina is the same way I'll build Talia, except that I'll try my best not to put any stat into accuracy because she does not have any skills that require her to land harmful effects. She's just there for that raw damage, right? So I make her as beefy and tanky as possible while still doing optimal damage. So let me just zoom through the artifacts real quick. Then we have runes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we have Josephine. Now, if you watch my previous video, you would know that I made a video on her. I changed her runes recently because I needed other units. So for Josephine, is basically I use her heavily. 95% of the time I use her in Guild War slash Seas. So I use her to counter Orion, Clara especially, Ciara, and those units. Any units at all that once they get the first turn they're gonna stun you, Josephine is your girl to counter that. So yeah. As it relates to the rune build, violent, you don't really have to go violent, but I like to go violent because sometimes she can just stun the whole team with her first kill. Then we have Wusa, right? I used to run Wusa on Swift back in the day, but as time goes on, violent is needed because why not? So yeah, wait, I didn't cycle through Josephine's rune, so let me do that one sec. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's kind of meh. It's pretty much leftover runes anyways, and the same goes for Wusa. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is not so much leftover, but yeah, this is not so much of a leftover. This is not so much of a leftover, but you get the idea. Compared to my other sets, I have faster violent will sets, but it doesn't make this any trashier. Then we have the artifacts there. Abellio. No. This is where we get into the most used units. I use Abellio in almost, no, 100% every Guild War and Siege. I use Abellio. Well, probably 95% in Siege. But Guild War, 100% chance. 100% of the times I use Abellio a lot. A lot. And it's not mainly due to his abilities itself, but the units that I have to pair with him, right? As you can see, he's ruined. I don't know from your standard if this is considered good or bad, but from my standard, this is really well ruined. He's on violent will. I gave him my best runes possible. So here we go. Violent, slot 1. Good balance of crit rate, HP, attack, speed. Then we have speed slot 4. It's pretty sad that it's inbuilt. HP is inbuilt, but it is what it is. Then we have that whopping nice balance of HP, crit rate, and so forth. Then we have this whopping 31% defense. Then we have this one here, and then we have these two whopping runes. Now, as you can see, I believe these runes, yes, directly from Dimensional Hole, and they rolled right. I think I had to re-up this though, but this one I didn't have to re-up, I think. But yeah, yeah, I re-upped this. I remember re-upping both of them. So yeah, really good runes. Strong stats overall. He's a defense scale unit, but he scales with attack as well. So that plus 603 attack is not wasted. It tallies in this damage that he does with his skills too. With his skill too. So good balance of crit rate, tanky, decent speed, etc. His artifacts. I try to give him the relevant artifacts with the proper substats and so forth. I take him versus Savannah a lot. Ideally, one wouldn't take a water unit versus Savannah, but as I would have said earlier, because of who I paired him with, it makes him very optimal to go against Savannah, and that's with Amelia and Wind Panda. So I try to optimize for damage reduction from wind enemies. So yeah. Then we have Covenant. Now, as you can see so far, I'm that kind of guy that I don't like to put myself at the mercy of RNG. So I still have these old school comps where we just one-shot classes. So as you can see right here, Covenant is no different. I basically stack as much damage as I possibly can. Back in the day, we could get away with 70% crit rate, right? Today, we can't do that. So we have to go 100% crit rate all the time, unless you're gonna use a crit rate lead or crit rate buff. Ideally, you'd want 100% because sometimes using those honor units causes too much let's say it's just not, it doesn't synergize with the team well. So yeah, mouth getting a little bit dry. So let's go through the runes. So we have the first one, then we have the second one, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth, and then we have as much damage from the artifacts. So the damage that Covenant does in Guild War is probably 70k, I believe, if I recall. And that's with his leader skill, by the way. Yeah, I think he does like 68k, but then again, it's hard to tell because you're gonna have units that have damage reduction from water and crit damage, so it's kind of hard to tell. So most of the times, some of the times it will be 69, 68, 67k. Sometimes you'll see 74k. Then we have Susano. Now, so Susano is one of my units. I use it versus the Triana, the Shiner, and the Martina defense quite often. So along with Megan and Stella. So I try to optimize for as much crit rate as possible because I don't want him to miss crit on a fire unit. So this is how I have him built. Speed tuned, by the way. The other day on another build he got cut, so I decided to take the speed tune a little bit further. Now, so we have the first one, second, third slot, fourth slot, fifth slot, then the sixth one. Then we have the artifacts right there. Now let's move on to Tractor. I just recently started using Tractor, but I do use him for some counters like Arcana comps. So here we have him on Vampire because I can't rely on his healers to heal him, so he has to heal himself and do his contribution to the team. So that's his runes right there. Then we have Poseidon. Now Poseidon is another unit that you can use both for damage and CC. Right now I use him for CC. Evelyn TOA, by the way. So there we have his first, second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. At this point it's leftover runes. These are not kind of runes that I would take in PvP scenario, but yeah. Then we have Amelia. Pardon me for a second. I need to get a glass of water. Okay, I'm back. So, for Amelia, I use her on Violent Will, uh, with as much resistance as possible. So, I am user mainly in Guild War. She can work in Arena, but not at this runes set. You need to, Amelia is gonna need to be faster. Let's say like plus 150 Violent Will, or at least plus 130 from my standard, or 140. But anything slower than that is gonna be a problem. So, as it relates to our artifacts, these are it. Damage taken from wind, so forth. Then our runes are like this. Still a lot of room for improvement, but yeah, kind of leftover-ish. Then we have Peace Armor. If you're watching my previous video, I just dropped Peace Armor Auto Builder Unit series. So here is rune sets again, for those who didn't see. And those are his artifacts. Then we have this wonderful girl called Alicia the Water Polar Queen. Now she has one of my best AoE nuker sets. As you can see, 100% crit rate, 151 speed. And she's on a swift blade. So that's her slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I believe these are legendary runes. No, this one is era. I know this one is a legendary rune. Yeah, it is. I think this one is hero. No, it's legend. And I don't think this is a hero rune. Yeah, it's rare. More room for improvement. And that's also rare. I believe this is legend, but yeah. Room for improvement, which means she can be a better Alicia one day. Those are artifacts. Then we have Galleon. Something's not right. There should be another Galleon out here. I was gonna say that I built 3 Galleons, one recently. Oh, did I skip him? I did. I did skip him. Wow. How many units did I skip? I really skipped him. I really skipped him and other units. But anyway, let me do like this. So, alright, let me change that. I don't like this view too much. But anyways, as you can see, all my galleons are built the same way. Violent shield for my 100% resistance Tiana. Those are the rune sets. And then we have the artifacts. Not too crazy right there, just for stats. We have the other galleon. This is the one I built yesterday. Yeah. It is to counter a particular comp in high-end arena, which is which is against, I think, Woonsa. It would be against Woonsa, yeah. Woonsa. Because Woonsa has this attack that he does, AoE strip. and if he strips anything, it gives his teams a top bar. Now, the team that I would use wouldn't have any beneficial effects, so they don't get an attack bar. So that's the whole idea of me building him without a rune set. So yeah, then we have the artifacts right here and there. Let me go back to the first galleon that I skipped and other units as well. Now with the first one, it's built on will, violent will. So that's mean the will is there due to counter Leo teams. That's really what the will rune is there for. So yeah, those are the runes for him. Now let me get back to this. I don't know how I skipped these units. But anyways, Megan. So as I would have said earlier, I use Megan with what's his name? Susano and Stella to counter that Marshartina comp with Triana. Yeah, so this is the speed tune version. So as fast as well, I could make her faster, but that's not the idea. The idea is to speed tuner with the team that I'm using, and this level of speed is good enough. Right, you won't find a 200 violent Shartina on defense, right? Because I'm gonna be using Susano speed lead, right? So I'm definitely gonna outspeed that 300 violent thing. Then we have Vigor. Now Vigor, back in the day, Vigor was my bread and butter team. Still is today, but not so much. I used to use him a lot with Wind Monkey King and Molly. Yeah, that's why yeah, I use them both on offense and defense, and it worked wonders. Like I could put them in any Guild War comp and they would win on auto. Nowadays I can't do that so much, but yeah, those are his rune. He was rune a bit differently back then. Adam and Violent Will, but in this beta, Destroy is the way to go. Then we have the famous Chikaru comp. This Chikaru comp, I believe, it can work without stats from guild, I think. I think I'm a bit over the requirement. I don't remember the requirements right now. Or maybe I'm not, but you viewers would know. So triple guard was the way to go. I was the kind of person that I still kept these runes, even though I wasn't using them. Well, some of them, right? I kept them still for some reason. Maybe I foresaw this day. Who knows? But yeah. And basically what I'm saying is the moment the Chikaru come came out, I could immediately build it. I never had to farm anything or to get back runes like these. I had them lying around already. So yeah, that's it right there. Should show the artifacts. Let me go on the others to show the artifacts. And that's where we have it. Yeah. Now we have Lulu. Lulu and friends. 100% resistance. Now I was trying to minimize stats into accuracy and attack because they were useless for Lulu, but you know, can't find the rune, so this is what it is. Violent Endure. Now those are the rune sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rune. I remember the day, and this was a violent enchant too. I still kind of regret it because up to this day, like I had this rune like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and I haven't gotten the chance to grind it. It was a waste back then, but back in the day I never really know much to know when to use and so forth. Up to today, still not grinding, but the next time I'm gonna get a rune, I'm gonna grind it though. Gonna grind it. Let me see, what rank rune is it? Is it anyways? Oh, it's hero. Okay. We already did Galia and then Rena, my first 6-star. Yes. Even gave her Devilmon, still a thing to do, but life goes on. So yeah, energy, destroy, as tanky as possible. So those are our rune sets. Just a typical Ciara counter and so forth. Old school comps. So if you don't have the premium units to go to counter Ciara, these are the kind of comps that you would use. So yeah, that's it right there. Then we have Bastet. Bastet, like she could be better. Bastet was my first Nat 5, by the way. Could be better rune. It's just splash runes at this point. Violent shields for Odin, my Odin defense, so that she can give stacks to Odin and nuke something on turn one. So yeah. Mm-hmm. A few grinds missing here and there. But I don't think I will grind this. Maybe I will. I mean, if I get some surplus of E or violent grinds, then maybe I will, yeah. And this needs a HP grind, but yeah, that's what it is right now. I believe I did this already. Yes, I did. So let's go back down the list. I remember doing Poseidon. I think I stopped. Yeah, I stopped right here. So Tyrone is the next one. So another PvE unit. It can be used for, early game PvP, but that's about it. So PvE is kind of like a free-to-play Charlotte. Well, Tyrone is not necessarily free-to-play anyways, but if you don't have Charlotte, Tyrone is the way to go. To be honest, there are certain situations where Tyrone is going to be better than Charlotte in TOA, yeah. So Isaiah's accuracy, and those are his runes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At this point, these are just leftover runes. So yeah. Then we have Sion. Yeah, I ruined him like this because I pulled Sierra. So he's my bomber to go with Sierra. Missing a few artifacts, but it is what it is. So yeah, has accuracy in build and so forth, all that good stuff. Then we have Spectra. He's look like he's missing a rune. Yes, he is. So Spectra, I just build it swift with as much accuracy and crit rate. Now what rune should I put here? I kind of want him. This is a legend rune, by the way. Don't know what that's doing here, but I'm gonna put it on him. So yeah. So mainly for TOA, but in hell as well. So those are the artifacts. Rune 1. Yeah, this is a legendary rune. Hopefully it can give me something good one day when I re-up it. So those are the rune sets. Then we have Kali, one of my favorite units that I use almost every day. With Katarina and Covenant and my other OP Nat 4s. So, well, not saying Katarina Nat 4, but you get the point. So, yeah. Rage Shield. One layer of shield buff to protect my Katarina from being stripped. Also Kali, but mainly for Katarina. So, those are the runes. Rune 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have those nice artifacts. Like I got this recently. It was a really major upgrade. Like I think with this and also this one, I schooled her up to, thankfully her second skill is max. She's hitting like, let me see. She can go up to 80k in Guild War Siege. Yeah. It's all about that strong damage. We don't want anything to survive on 1% HP to violent full HP and kill you. We don't deal with that. We overkill. Then we have the Rayok. So this is my R5 Rayok. I don't use him anywhere else. At least this one I don't. So those are his stats. And runes. Artifacts here and there, blah. Now this is my dungeon Rayok. I use him in SF10. That is Steel Fortress, if I recall. So those are his runes. I would want 85% accuracy, but I couldn't get it. So it is what it is. Plus it's not that crazy important. So those are his runes. They're here and there. Pretty much leftover runes anyways. So yeah. Then we have Saf. So he's a part of the team that I use with Rayok. I also use this in my GB12 team. So yeah. I would use in TOA, but not TOAL. He's a bit too slow for TOAL. So those are his runes. Leftover runes still. Can be used in TOA hard though. Then we have She, Tattoo. Pair these together, detonate dots. So everybody should know that. Those are the rune sets. And yes, it was intended to put her on double will for GB12. So pretty much leftover runes again. Nothing special there. And I built a second collie for siege and also in my speed raid team. So those are runes. Slot one, not so much of a leftover rune. These runes are good for your earth. Well, this one is not so good, but this one is, I believe it's good, legendary. Then we have this and that. Bulldozer. I can't tell the last time I bulldozed something. I know I have not bulldozed that. I think I may have. I can't recall bulldozing anything since the start of 2022. These runes have been stuck on him ever since then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have this and that. Then we have Chloe here. Not much speed, but leftover swift runes. So those are slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have the artifacts here and there. Still use Chloe. Like, I really wish, at the time I used Chloe a lot, I really wish her speed leader skill came out, but yeah. Then we have Kamun, part of my Guild War defense team. I used to build this guy on a crit damage build, but now I have to not do that anymore. Rune quality and so forth. So they have the first one, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth, and those are his rune sets. So that's it for the Kamun. I like to call him the Captain Iron Dog. That's what I call him. Then we have Barretta, another TOA unit. Like, Barretta is one TOA unit that I take in every TOA battle, almost every TOA battle. Because the speed lead and the dots, I pair him with Water Homunculus a lot. He's not fully skilled up, but he still does his job. So these are his runes. Try to get as much speed. They are pretty much leftover runes anyways, but yeah. Then we have Colleen. I haven't runed this in a long time. I've been stuck on this runes, mainly PvE. I use her in the Wind Rift Beast. And where else do I use her? Labyrinth. The fire one, I believe. No, the wind one. Yeah, and the wind labyrinth. Yeah, that's the next place I use her. And then they have Wind Rift Beast and so forth. Then we have War, a part of my speed R5 team. No, I shouldn't call it speed, but solo R5 team. So there we have the rune sets. This is pretty much leftover runes. It could be better, but I cannot be bothered to rune it again. It works fine as it is right now, so there's no reason to fix something that is not broken. So yeah. Then we have the Zhongfei. I have not ruined this. This guy has been sitting on these runes for the past almost a year now. Like, I only use him in Wind Rift Beast and some dimensional old bosses. You know, the rune ones, not necessarily the others, but the rune ones, the one that gives runes, legend runes. You know what I'm talking about. Perna, part of my Guild War defense. So, kind of leftover-ish runes. She could be better. I could give her way more speed with the same amount of, probably even more HP and attack. A little less defense, but at the exact same crit rate. Or 85 for that matter. So, yeah. So we have the first, this is a legendary rune. We have the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. Yeah, and this are artifacts here and there. Then we have Harmonia. Harmonia. I rarely use this unit on offense. It's mainly for defense. So these are the runes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leftover runes. Right? So yeah. Tessarion. I've played with him, like, played with Tessarion a lot. But I prefer him on this build instead of a damage build because I need those monsters to have their passives turned off. I'd rather use some other monster to do damage. I need their pass. I need all these monsters. So I try to rune him as tanky with as much accuracy as possible. Because I don't like when Oblivion misses. So can you imagine how hurt I must feel when Oblivion misses at 100 accuracy or 85% accuracy? Then we have Daphnis. Um, I probably shouldn't put this unit on the list, but I did because he had runes. I don't typically like to run. I don't want to use him in Guild War because if he doesn't one shot what I'm trying to one shot, due to the fact that I miss a strip or didn't land armor break, I'm most likely going to lose. Because the setup that I would have to build him with relies that he does his job, and that's with Bastet and some other unit, which most of the times can solo. So yeah, the idea of him being on Vampire is so that he doesn't is so that he can stay alive longer because his third skill actually takes damage from his third skill actually sacrifices the HP somewhat. So Vampire is just there to offset that. Then we have Verded Heal for R5 and my DB12. You're probably wondering why it's built like this, but it still works in DB12. And I built it like this because I want him to have will runes in my R5 team. So those are his rune sets, pretty much leftover runes anyways. So yeah. Then we have Maruna. Now I use Maruna and Shiner together for some specific Guild War defenses as counters along with the Aquila. That's the Wind Brownie Magician. So here's the rune sets. We have Will, Blade, Shield with as much stats as I can possibly find at the cost of speed. Then we have Sin. Now, Sin has good runes on him, but most of the times, some of the times, he does not deliver. Like, I'm going to show you the runes. Like, of all the units that I've shown you now, Sin has probably one of the best quality runes. Not necessarily rune types, but best quality runes in terms of efficiency. Now look at this. It's not so much the destroy, it's merely the vampire. Look at this whopping vampire rune. Like, wow. Still room for improvement, but it's still sexy. You've gotta give credit to this rune where it's due. Then this one not so much, but it's still better than some of the vampire runes I have. Then we have this here. Then we have this. Like 29% attack, 13% crit rate, 11% defense. Oh my god, this rune is nice. Along with this one as well. I believe this is legendary. No, it's hero. So more room for improvement. If I get a Recon anytime soon, I'm taking these runes from Sin. Then we have Bailey, my R5 build for him. So those are his rune sets. Nothing too crazy. Just enough damage and the crit rate to get the job done. I wouldn't say it's leftover runes. These are actually my decent fatal sets that I'd use. Then Shiner. I pair user with Maruna a lot for specific counters to Guild War offense. So there we have so this works really nice for Shiner. Like if I would take anything out, it would be the HP. I didn't bother swapping out the HP because I didn't need the added speed. So that's why it is like that. But this is really good for Shiner. Crit rate, accuracy, right? Shiner needs her accuracy to do our accuracy things. Then we have this guard rune and that. There we go, and that's I could guess good grinder, but we don't need to. Then we have this, so you know she is definitely landing her stuff. Then we have Masha. Masha is one of my better rune units. Not my only beast rider. I need the Savannah, but I will wait impatiently. So one of my better rune sets. So this is the part when I said that I could make Perna better. Yeah, Masha is wearing those runes. So here we have the first skill. I mean the first rune. The second one. This could be improved, but yeah. The third one, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. And then we have the artifacts here and there. Then we have Zaros, one of my best. I believe this is probably, yeah, one of my best AoE new cursive sets. It would be on par with Alicia. So with this, I try to get as much speed, crit rate. Like those are the stats I prioritize: speed, crit rate, and accuracy. Like it means a lot to me. Zaros reset means a lot to me, as you can see there with the artifact having accuracy. Means a lot. Then we have Douglas. I use Douglas as my speed R5 and some Guild War and RTA content. Vampire. I go Vampire Blade because I want him to be critting. Optimal crit rate is the 85% mark. Good Vampire runes. Yes, he has my best Vampire set. Right? And then we have here, I could make him a bit faster because I have a 26 speed Vampire set. I believe it's on Megan right now. So yeah. Then we have this rune here. Nice, amazing stats. So these are not leftover runes. These are actually one of my best sets of runes. So yeah. Then we have Carcano. Violent Destroy. First skill. Then the second rune. This is one of my better sets as well. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then we have the artifacts. Yeah, because I use them on defense, and this is what it is. So, then we have Kaki. Kaki is, yeah, it's kind of on leftover runes. I don't use him as much these days anymore. I used to use him a lot when he came out, but not anymore. So, yeah. Then we have this Kunit. Is basically a Karkana or some nuclear defense counter. Let me just attach a rune to him right now. He should have. I'm looking for a defense rune with resistance in it. Okay. Guess this will work. And that's how I would use him. Guess I should put something for the artifact there. Let me see. It's gonna be a random artifact. Well, no, that's for another day because I want him to be give him a tankier artifact. But yeah. Then we have Naomi. Yes, I use this unit. Yes, I used it in Water Rift Beast only. You can use it in your GB12 if you're early game and you're looking for a nuker to use in your GB12 team. Naomi is very viable. She's very easy on the runes because of how her passive works. Right? So if you're early game, I suggest that this is one of the few units that you'll build for your starter GB12 team. So as you can see, our runes, I try not to get as much crit rate because of how our passive works, as you can see on the screen there. So this is basically leftover runes. So yeah. And then we have our artifacts, etc. Then we have Triana. Triana is used on defense, not so much of a leftover runes, but the best that I can build her for this kind of lineup. So yeah, I have her on Destroy. with as much, you know, much of everything that I need to win the guild war. Well, mainly the guild war defense. I don't use her on offense. Then we have Katarina, my pride and joy, one of my most favorite units in the game. I love this unit very much. I love her very much. Katarina, so much so that I built two. So this is my best Rage Will set. Slow nuking set. This is my best that I can get. And it took a long while to get here. To have a rage set that gives me plus 2000 attack. Well, technically it's not 2000 because it gets assisted by artifacts. So yeah. But there are some people out there who can get these kind of stats without artifacts. So kudos to them. So there we have the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I won't grind this. I want her to remain at the speed she's at. Then we have the fourth one, nice attack. Then we have the fifth one, the sixth one. This is still room for a lot of improvement, right? I'd sacrifice the the upgrades to these sets for everything to be in crit damage. She'll hit a lot harder. And then we have the artifacts. And then we have over here. We have Lucian. Is on my basically third best damage set for 100 crit rate. So these are his runes. It's kind of leftover runes. So I don't really use him as much, but yeah. Is what it is. And that's where we go. Then we have Copper. I have not used him in a long while, along with Bulldozer. So those are his runes. Their runes have not changed. It has been like this for probably a year now. So, yeah. So those are, except for the added artifacts, but yeah. Then they have Charlotte. I should have caught this on video when I 2v3 a team. Sniped, they end up killing my Scenario, my Ciara on turn 1, and Charlotte and Ganymede took it home. I believe it was a Molong and what's the Light Sky Dancer and Tyrannus. And my Charlotte and Ganymede 2v3 them. I felt so good because I recently changed the runes from accuracy slot 6 to HP, and that's partly the reason why I won, because Molong was doing work. He wanted to kill Charlotte, and Charlotte pulled through. So here are runes: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Kinda, I wouldn't say leftover runes. It's kinda subpar. Like, it's kind of a between leftover and good runes. Then we have Triton. Triton is on leftover runes. So we have his first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. Now, I use Triton in a very specialized comp. Is one comp I use him. I mean, I used to use him in other comp back in the day. But I use him in my Mantira, Galleon, Megan team. So, yeah. Then we have Melissa. Melissa, I only use these along with her sister. I only use them in Water Rift Beasts. So these are the runes. Nothing too crazy. These are pretty much leftover runes. Well, except these two. These two are kind of optimal. The ones before are leftover. So, yeah. Then we have Delfoil. Delfoil seems to be missing a rune. Let me put something there real quick. Let me see. Nemesis to complete the set. Okay. Let me see. I guess you can take this one. So that's a rune set. So these are leftover runes. Nothing too crazy here. So leftover runes. This is not so much leftover. I use this rune on my CR, I think, in for Rush Hour. So yeah. And those are the artifacts. Then we have Aquila. So Aquila I use a lot with the Fire Twins. That is my Aquila. Now the rune sets on them would be like this. That's the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. And you see, because I'm taking turn two, it's imperative that I can survive turn one. So that is the reason for those shield sets right there. So then we have the first side and the second side. So Zenobia, the girl that I used with her sister, which is Melissa, I ruined her recently. Rage Blade. This is one of my better rage sets. Should have been on Teshar, but it is what it is. I'm using her more than I use Teshar, and I got Teshar really too late. I got Teshar at the point where I didn't need her anymore. And my second Katarina, my pride and joy, 100% crit rate. This is my best 100 crit rate damage set that is on a slow build, I think. So those are our runes. So these aren't leftover. These are actually the best that I got for a slow fat Katarina. And then we have our artifacts here and there. Then Ganymede. Ganymede is on leftover runes. So those the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6. And those are his artifacts. So mainly TOA, some Guild War, Skoggle, Violent, kinda on, let me start with the first one, kinda on leftover runes-ish. It is, like, except this one. And then we have that one, slot 5, then 6. But pretty much majority is leftover runes. Then we have Feng Yang. Yang Yang. And let me see, this is one of my best runes. I have to rune him like this. I wouldn't say best runes, but this is how he's best built for Guild War offense is this mana. 100 resistance and as much defense as you can get, preferably being built on Destroy. So that's his first one, the second one, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. This could be more room for improvement. I wish this was a lot more HP, but it is what it is. Then we have his artifacts here and there. Wind Monkey, one of my favorite wind tanks. He's my most favorite wind tank. It was a pleasure ruining him. Back when I was in Exile Mercs, like they told me that I need to step up the stats on my Wind Monkey and that I needed to have plus 30k HP with almost as close as 100% attack for it to be viable for Guild War defense. Up to this day I'm not able to accomplish that feat, but this is the closest I could get. So he's on Violent Destroy, those are his runes. This is my best Violent Destroy set for Wind Monkey. So yeah. Then we have this. So PvE unit SFF 10, SF10 and GB12. Nothing crazy here, leftover runes, and yes, she's on double will runes for a reason. Then we have Tiana. Oh, I longed for a guaranteed AoE stripper. My best. This is my best Swift set, including broken set. So the first one, the second, the third, the fourth, a whopping Violent. Right, I'm not missing out having a strong Violent defense monster for Guild War. Like, she does her job at 300 speed. Right? Tiana, my best set. No regrets. I have no regrets having that Violent set wasted. It's not wasted, but it's wasted in terms of the set not being active, but yeah. Then we have Odin. He's on my Guild War defense. Those are his runes. Nothing too crazy. He's not winning though, but nothing too crazy. I mean, I've tried giving him more rune quality, but I'm still not pleased with the performance, so I reduced him to this state. This one, same as before, nothing special. Let me go through the runes again a little bit slower. Uh-huh. Nothing special, just leftover runes. Those are the artifacts, as most of the artifacts you've seen so far are leftover artifacts. Then we have Ayunu. Was trying to make him with good speed, HP, attack, and defense, crit rate. For my Guild War defense, he had to be boil and destroy. I would not say that these are leftover runes. These are my gooder. Is that even a word? No. One of my better violent destroy sets. Oh, let me look at his artifacts. And there we go. Those are his artifacts. And then we have Windy. Leftover runes counter, but that doesn't mean they're bad. I mean, for the purpose that they're serving, making him tanky. Like, this is sweet. This is sweet. This is a sweet rune. Very sweet. Very sweet. Nice stats. I can think of a lot of units that would smile at this one, like Artemil. And we have there, there. And there's we are with artifacts. Then we have Malit. The Carcano counter, or one of the Carcano counters, leftover runes. I mean, yes, not it's efficient in a sense, but leftover in a sense that you can't take this to high quality PvP. So yeah. My Jamir is ruined like this because I use him with Katarina. So those are his runes. Kinda leftover-ish. I got Jamir really too late. I got him at the point where I couldn't live without him anymore. Really sad, but finally I have a Jamir to pair with my Katarina. Then we have Riley. Riley is on one of my best violent will sets. As you can see, 24 speed here, 25 here, 27 here. Not so much speed here, but I just chose for tankiness. Then we have I recently grabbed this one. I believe I got this from, was this a legendary rune? I believe it was hero. It was legend, so this is definitely, I don't think I pulled this from a dungeon. This is definitely from some event. Then we have Tyrannus. Tyrannus, oh my god, he's really hard. Like, I thought Abelio hit hard, but this guy makes Abelio looks like he's not trying. But yeah, I couldn't de-rune him. I couldn't betray Abelio by giving him Abelio runes. So I gave him his own violent set as close to Abelio as possible. So that's the first, the second, third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. And those are his artifacts. So the rune quality is a little bit lower, a slightly little bit lower than Abelio. Then we have one of my newest wind units, Ciara. Like, when I pulled the Ciara, I was so happy. Like, I de-runed almost everything that day to get this Ciara, yo. This nice whopping Ciara. Guild War. Built for Guild War. 100% crit rate. Yes, she's running slot 4 crit rate. Yep. That's all it is. I don't put her on will because I don't think it's necessary. I mean, not for how I play. Then we have my other Tiana. Yes, I pulled a Tiana recently, right? I got her after Ciara though. Like, normally one would feed dupes, but I wanted another Tiana. Siege is just too stressful. So having a Tiana that makes things go the way you want them to go, it really helps out. I made sure to build this one on 100% resistance. Because I do unit for Arena Rush Hour as well. And this was an event rune. I thought I wasted the opportunity because there was a point where I wasn't using this rune any at all, but I was blessed with another Tiana, which makes it now usable. Then we have Beladion. Leftover runes mainly for TOA, some farming teams that I have. Oh, let me look. I didn't look at Tiana's artifacts now, did I? I don't remember. But there it is. And then there's Bella's artifacts. Let me lock this. And yeah. Then we have Darian, right? I don't really use him as much. I think I use him in, what's the name of that team? The Cliff of Tough Beastmen, something like that. That's the team I use him in. I don't use him anywhere else. Oh my god, this is much leftover runes anyways. So, yeah. Then we have Shaman. Uh NB12. I tried to use him in that Swift dungeon, the Swift Runes dungeon, where you can farm ancient Swift runes. It wasn't working out, so far it's only NB12 I use him in. That's pretty much it. Then we have Alphas, just arena defense. That's the only place. So I tried to get him at 100 resistance with this spear set. It could be tankier with more HP, but I figured that the set is much better to get than 3000 more HP. So the despair set, that is. So yeah. Then we have Sharon. I used to run Sharon and Violent, now I don't anymore. So those are his runes. I do have him on Guild War Defense. This is kinda leftover-ish runes. They're still kinda good. So yeah. Then we have Jean. Jean is on leftover runes. Like she's just there for TOA. Now let me go through that story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just mainly for TOA. I can't tell the last time I used her for PvP. And the same with Fran. Fran. Fran is just there for a part of my solo R5 team. Or BJ5 or whatever it is that people call it nowadays. But yeah. With Lauren, not much, just for TOA leftover here and there. So yeah, as you can see, not much grind. That's splash rooms technically. Splash rooms. Then we have Ileana leftover Swift runes. No, I shouldn't say that. This is not leftover. Well, I do have 3 sets that are faster than this, but this is exactly leftover. I still use it. So yeah, those are runes. Like I think this was one of my first high speed runes. I don't think this was a quad roll. No, it couldn't be a quad roll because it's hero. So yeah, but it's definitely one of my first. And wow, you see that? You see that? You see how this game is at times, because look at that. This is a legend rune, and an ancient era, as a matter of fact. And 27 is the most I could get, and this is a hero. This is hero, and I pulled this way early game. It just goes to show how much Comtos is really watching. Like, they don't want to give me good runes. Let me see, leftover rune. Most of the Swift runes right here, like those, only these 2 are really optimal. Then we have the artifacts here. This is just basically leftover runes. It's just for my R5 team, nothing special. Then we have the golem, the golem, the golem, big Grego that I hardly use. Those are his runes. He has some really nice runes. I mean, not everything, but this one is really nice. This one is really nice, and that's just about it. Then we have his artifacts here and here. Then we have, what damn, this spare will, leftover runes, nothing crazy here. Then we have his artifacts. Then we have Molly. I have 3 Mollys, by the way. Yep, 3 Mollys and 1 beta. The beta is in storage, so I haven't tried her as yet. I could show you. Let me see. Where's the beta? Like, I pulled her, and when I pulled her, it was at a time when I really didn't need her. I haven't pulled her because I don't have enough skill ups yet. And a monster like beta isn't the kind of monster you want to use without skill ups. So that's why she's not rude. Where was I? I was on Molly. Where is Molly? Oh, yes. Now this is top tier. Triple S, my best rune set. Violent Destroy. This is how mollies, high-end mollies are with Carcanas and Triana. As fast as possible. Violent with Destroy, 100 resistance, and so forth. Alright, it's SSS tier on my standard, but on pay to win, no, on the players who spend money on the game, they have, better than this, but this is the best I can get. Then we have the Iris, Despair Revenge. So that's the first. This is actually one of my best Despair sets, if not the best. So, yeah. No, it's not the best. I have a 22 here, but it's defense percent and I prefer with HP. So, yeah. And there we go. Oh, and their artifacts are right here. And then we have my second Molly. Now this is the leftover runes Molly now. So first, second, the third, the fourth. Alright, this is not so much leftover. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. So these two runes here are not left over. These are actually good. So that's for my second Molly. My third Molly, as you can see, the rune quality, the stats are getting less. So so this is no, you could say that this is the leftover Molly, except for this rune. It's kind of similar to the one that run from, but it is what it is. Then we have that slot, that slot. Then we have the Vermos, leftover runes for TOA Hell. If I use him in TOA Hell, he's gonna be much faster than this. I'd lend him Tiana runes for that round because there's a stage in TOA Hell, or rather quality, whatever word you use to define it, that you start off with the monsters being silent. So Vermos can cleanse that if he's the first monster to move on your team. Well, not if. He will, but you want him to go first so that he can cleanse everybody, so that everybody on your team can use their skills. So this guy is, I use him in arena, and arena, yes. He's supposed to be a PvE unit, but I use him in and arena, yeah. For Leo, particularly for teams that have Leo and that light demon, yeah, for the AoE armor break. So that's about it. So even though it's leftover rooms though, I still use them in Iron Arena because he's just there to just be fast enough for the team that he's in. It's the, I have it with the level 35 Megan that's built on double Nemesis build. And then the final unit, my pride, my joy, one of the most powerful units in Summoner's War. Give it up, give it up, give it up for the Dark Onimusha Ongyoku. Ongyoku. Oh my god. Awesome stats. Like, I'm going to try and aim for a 3k Ongyoku one of these fine days, but here are his runes. The first one, 24 speed, 23% attack, nice. Then we have the second one, 25 speed substat, attack percent, main stat, nice. Then we have 20%, 20 speed and 20 accuracy, 29 speed right here, yep. And this, if this rune, if it never, like, I don't have any other rune on slot 5 that gives more accurate, that gives more attack percent than this, because this, as you can see, it rolled into resistance, so I could get more attack percent here, more attack percent, and that would bring me closer to the 3k. Then we have the 6th slot, 24 speed, so that's all, that is it. Yep, I use this unit every day. No exaggeration. In Guild War, in Siege, in regular arena, every day. Very sugoi. Very sugoi. I should change, no I shouldn't, yeah, those are his artifacts. So, yeah. That is it. That is it for that Rune Showcase. The other units that I have, I don't use them regularly. That's why they're not ruined. Or that's why they're in storage. Well, everybody was in storage for that matter, but yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Now, see you all in the next